I imagine Salakia. La Yasha'ala, which means to Israel. All right. Salakia, I imagine. Pani Akodam, which means to face the east, to stand and face the east. Salakia. All right. We are going to get into the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, you can find it in Matthew chapter 6, verse 8 through 13 in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Watka, Taba'ah, Rakazaka, Hayah, Ashah, Baratazak, Kawah, Hayah, Washamayim, Lathanlanawa, Lakam, Kar Yawam, Wasalak Nanawa, Kabawak Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawak Yanawa, Wala'ah, Taba'ah, Wanasayawan, Abor, Awashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakab, Amalakwak, Wa'ala, Wakaparah, La Avalam, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. Amen. The power in the Hebrew. Yahweh Shemel Shah, Babakashah, Nathanlanaw, the Kat, it's like the Kat, La Ba'at, Karmakala, or Karmanawa, Kat, La Sahar, Amakazari, Kat, La Haki, Hamaki, Kat, Arakawat, Hatama'ala, the Garashim, by Shemel Shah, Kamaraman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Bless Israel. In the Hebrew, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Barak Lanawa, Wayasha'ala, Wahabayah, Sapari, Barak, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Kawad. Bless Israel in the Hebrew. That's like in the English. What we just said was, Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha, Ayanya, Aharian, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Asha, Shemayim, Warakaza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Regalka, Ayanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Zalka, Ayad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Ra, Yashamar, Akabashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taka'aka, Wabawathka, Mayatha, Wa'ai, Iwalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Adam Yalaka, Ata Korash, or Alta Shakwa, or Kayahanak, Awabita, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, Al Amaka, Yahweh Yama, Sawada, Wayatha Yatazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amaru, Lakawa, Makakidan, Magoya, Malaya Sakar, Shamya Sha'ala, Iwala, Kaya, Nawat Hazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Arika, Varia, Yakarakwa, Ahoya, Adamon, Vaya Shema Aliyam, Mawaabu, Wargari, Gabar, Wamawan, Wamalat, Malashat, Amishab, Tazabor, Gum Ashabor, Nalawa, Aiman, Hayawat, Zarwa, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Ashalaham, Kamadi, Kasiyasa Ra'a, Kiyabin, Wanakor, Koyashwan, Nashimadra, Bayanda Aura, Hayawat, Daman, La Adama, Shathamwa, Nada, Ya Mawa, Kaira, Wakazabak, Wakazor Manai, Karnasi Kamwa, Ashar, Amara, Narashat, Wanawa, At, Naawa, Alahayim, Alaya, Shathamwa, Kabogan, Kapas, Lapanyaro, Ka, Kaash, Kabaria Ira, Wat Kalabak, Balahat, Hari, Khan, Dartatma, Kasaraka, Wabasa Pata, Balaham, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayapakwashwa, Shankara, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya Bahova, Ayai, Waya Kapara, Waya Abida, Waya Daiwa, Kaya Abba, Shaka, Yahweh, Labatka, Al Yawan, Al Kaharakaza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. Below thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Yashar'Allah may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Israelites of Moab, and Hagarenes, and Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the habitants of Tyre. Ashur also joined with them. They have hoped the children of Lot, Salah, doing to them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which pairs at Endor. They became as dung for the earth, made the numbers like a rig, and like said, yea, are the princes as Sabbath and as Mumin, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make it like a wheel as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill the faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever, yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. ISUPK, power structures. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Since he was a curse of the punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Since he was a curse of their punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Since he was a curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and the drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Hazakambatasm, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues hit the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael, and Gabriel come down to find saucers to punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause this to be known by all that is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai, I thank you always, so be it. All right, Sar, what's your turn? All right. All right, side. Shabium, which means to be seated. All right. All right, let's clap it up. All right, first things first, I do want to say Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Shah Barakatah to the brothers, Shalom Yahweh Shamar, Alataba Shemal Shah to the sisters. All right, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General Yohana, ISUPK, Minnesota. I am priest and officer 5000, Maccabea. All right. So as you know, every Saturday is what we call the Sabbath service. We hold a service where we go back to our cultural tradition, which is simply where, if you are so-called African American, Latino, North American Indian, you are part of a nation. You are tribes. 12 tribes that are part of a nation, which is the nation of Israel. And of course, this service is our culture, and where we wear garments, which is, very detailed cultural clothing. And with that, we go into our language. And our language, our native tongue, is going to be the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And not only do the men, of course, go and read into the Hebrew and then read it back into the English. However, we also have the opportunity of younger men to come up and do the same, so that way they know how to speak into their own language. Because of captivity, meaning that because Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians were under oppression throughout many different time periods, different years, we have lost our language. Our language was, stripped from us. We did not remember it. We learned someone else's. We adopted someone else's way of life, to the point where we forgot how to be those 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Ultimately, God's chosen people. Okay? So, today we are going to get it back into the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, all the way to chapter 13. All right. If anybody has any questions or concerns, type it into the chat, and we will go ahead and address it. All right. All right. So, in the meantime, let me see. So, also too, when you're speaking in tongues, speaking in tongues simply means you are speaking into a different language or speaking in another language. Whenever you are speaking in a language that no one else understands, you have to translate it. All right. That's the purpose of, speaking in tongues. All right. If you're going to speak in a different language, you should make sure that you translate it so those people who do not speak the language understand what you are saying. So, for example, we live in a world right now in America where English is the main language that people speak and understand. So if you're speaking in Chinese, Japanese language, Spanish, a Hebrew language, right? You have to translate what is being said so that people can understand. All right. All right. Let's dive right into it. Okay. Once again, if you have missed Sabbath service in the past, I advise that you go back the previous Saturdays before this date and just catch up to where we left off. All right, so I did mention that we are in Leviticus chapter 11, verse 42. And the 11th chapter, once again, starts off speaking about things that are unclean and clean to eat. It's speaking about different types of animals that are lawful and unlawful for us to eat. All right. Once again, if you missed that class, you want to go to the previous ones. But otherwise, we are towards the end of the 11th chapter. And from there, it's going to list other things that are lawful and unlawful, things that are clean or unclean. All right. So, you see. Okay. All right. This is Leviticus chapter 11, verse 42. And we read 7 verses at a time, by the way, and then we translate it into the English. All right. Let's see. All right, let's get it. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 42. Call, Hawalak, Gakawan will call Hawalak, Arabai, I call Marabah, Regalim, Lakal, Hasharatazah, Al, Haratazah, La'ah, Tha'akom, Kaya, Shakwatazah, Hum, verse 43, Al, Dashakwatazawah, Ath, Napashak Yakum, Bakal, Hasharatazah, Wala'ah, Thatama'awa, Bahum, Wana Tamathum, Bum, verse 44, Kaya, Anya, Yahweh, Allah Hayakam, Salaki, Waha Takodashim, Wahaya Yatham, Kodashim, Kaya, Quadawash, Anya, Wala'ah, Tatama'awa, Napashak Yakam, Bakal, Hasharatazah, Haramash, Al, Haratazah, verse 45, Kaya, Anya, Yahweh, Hamila, Athkam, Athkam, Maharatazah, Matazarian, Lahaya, Lakam, La Alahayim, Wahai Gayatham, Kodashim, Kaya, Quadawash, Anya, verse 46, Za'ath, Za'ath, Thawarath, Haba'ama, Wahaiwa, Wakal, Napach, Hakaya, Ramas, Salakia. Good night. Hara Mashah. Wait. Hara Mashah. Hara Mashah. Hara Mashah. Bamayam. Walakal. Napash. Hasharatazah. Al. Haratazah. Verse 47. Lahabadal. Vayan. Hatama'a. Wabayan. Hatahar. Hatahar. Wabayan. Hakaya. Hakaya. Hana. Hana Akal. Hana Akalith. Wabayan. Hakaya. Ashar. La'a. Ta'akal. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1. Wayadabar, Yahweh, Al, Mashah, La'amar. So, like, that's it on that part. All right. All right, let's get back into the English. All right. So, this is Leviticus chapter 11, verse 42. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. So again, this is speaking about the things that you can and can't eat. All right. These are the things that are lawful and unlawful. All right. And the creepy things on the earth are going to be, like frogs, lizards. You have reptiles that are creeping things, the things that are on their bellies. You have alligators. You have certain things out there that are, considered animals or wildlife that are creeping, crawling things. All right, that you cannot eat. All right, let's keep going. Verse 43. You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth. Neither shall you make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. Now, of course, in this context, it's speaking about, let me see, it's like here. What it say? Let me read it one more time. Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth. Neither shall you make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. So again, in order to not be unclean, right? To keep yourself from being unclean, you can't eat the thing that is unlawful. This thing, so now with the word unclean or clean, it's not speaking about if it's like safe to eat in the sense of if it's dirty or not. It's not speaking about that at all, right? Clean just simply means, is it lawful? Is it okay to eat this thing? Is it okay to do? If it's clean, then it's okay. If it's unclean, it's not okay. It's not about if you wash it enough, if you pray over it enough. It's not about any of that. Okay, it's about if it is good to eat or not when it comes to the Lord. Is it lawful? Is it not? What does the law say about this creeping thing? Can I eat alligator? Can I eat reptiles? Can I eat a monkey? Can I eat whatever, these bugs? So on and so forth. Can I eat this animal and not this animal? The law is going to describe and tell you very clearly what you should and should not eat. All right. And also, too, what we should know, what we all should know is that everything that looks like food is not food. You have things called a delicacy. And there, and the reason why they call it a delicacy is because, it can be a little bit more pricier. A little bit more expensive and more, luxurious. Just a luxury. Like at restaurants, fancy restaurants, they sell, different animals that you don't usually get or order at a simple restaurant. You have these 5 stars or more luxury restaurants where they sell things that are considered a delicacy, things that you can't find elsewhere. All right. Now, the Lord doesn't call that a delicacy. He calls it unclean. So, all those crabs, those shrimps, those lobsters, those, alligator soup, turtle soup, all your seafood boils and stuff like that. Like, that is not a delicacy at all. Those things are abomination unto the Lord. And also, too, when you do eat those things, down the line, it just destroys your body. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get into a whole thing about, oh, you shouldn't eat this, or you shouldn't eat that. But to the sense of, we have to follow what the Lord says. And one thing is, we should not find out why we shouldn't be eating these things. It should be very clear. And because we want to question the Lord so much, we find out that, it's not for us. It causes eternal damage to us. You get sick, you get illnesses from these things that the Lord told us not to eat. Like to this very day, they just find like Walmart shrimp is now being taken off of the shelves because of some type of linked illness or health issues that it's causing people. And you should not be surprised because the Lord said not to eat it in the first place. And I find it very ironic that all the things that the Lord tells us what we should do and should not do, and when we go against it, we see the reason why. We see examples within our communities. I'll keep going. Verse 44, for I am the Lord, your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Holy just simply means separate. Okay? The Most High is set apart. And what separates the children of Israel, so-called Black Hispanics and Native Indians, from other people's cultures? That we don't eat any and everything that moves, anything that looks edible. We have standards, we have a protocol, we have a system to figure out what is for us and what is not for us. When you look at other cultural ethnic people, you start to see that they eat any and everything. Like I know there's jokes about cultures like, the China within the Chinese race, right? Or the Japanese race that they just kind of eat any and everything, including their own pets. I mean, you would be surprised. There are many different people that think even people are a delicacy. You have humans out here of different ethnic backgrounds and races, right, and groups, who truly believe that it's okay to eat people. And you will be surprised. You are among them all the time, 24/7, or often. You are around them all the time. There are people who eat other people, not just anything. I'm talking about anything that moves, anything that looks like food, they will eat it. And the fact that the Lord has to tell us this, it says a lot, because there are people that will eat any and everything and don't think nothing of it. Nothing. Like seafood boils are normal to most people, but you're literally eating sea bugs and sea animals that are going to destroy your health, that are absolutely not food, but they serve another purpose. Moving on. Verse 45. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. And that's what separates us. These laws, statutes, and commandments, these protocols of morality. Those are the things that separate us, God's chosen people, from the other people that are not his chosen. Let's keep going. Verse 46. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth. Once again, this is the law of the beast. So the beasts that creep, and of the fowl. You have fowls, meaning those that fly, that creep as well. They are not food, which means you cannot eat. And every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth. So it's elaborating that anything that creeps, anything that's a creepy crawling thing, you know what I mean? Like for example, we use that word all the time for, alligators, because alligators, they creep. And people love alligator soup and meat and all this crazy stuff. You have certain birds that you cannot eat, fowls. You have ducks, they creep. You know what I mean? Ducks is not lawful, right? You have certain birds that are not lawful to eat, but you have some that are, correct? So on and so forth. Possum. Possum is not edible. I'm sorry, okay, it's not lawful. It's not a clean animal to eat. Let's keep going. Verse 47, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. Once again, I just want to elaborate that. The Most High is making a difference. Just like he made a difference of who are the clean people and the unclean people. Is God's chosen people are the clean ones, and then the other ones are unclean. Meaning those that are not Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, which I'll let you do all the thinking to figure that out. Those are the people that are not clean. They are unclean in all their ways, in all their culture, and their whole anatomy. How they live their life. Those people who are not so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, who make up 12 tribes. If they are not a part of those 12 tribes, those people are unclean unto the Lord. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1, last verse. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, now we're going to stop and go back to the Hebrew, all right? Let's see. 3, 6, 7, okay. All right, let's get it. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2. Debar, Al, Banya, Yasha'ala, La'amar, Asha, Asha, Kaya, Bazarai, Wayalada, Zakar, Watama'a, Shabaya, Yum Yum, Kayamaya, Nadath, Dawatha, Fatama'a, verse 3. Wabayawam, Hashama Salakia, Hashamayanya, Yamawal, Bashar, Aralathwa, verse 4. Washalashim, Yawam, Washalashaf, Yum Yum, Thashad, Badamya, Tahara, Bakal, Kodash, La'ah, the guy, wa'al, hamakodat, la'a, taba'a, I, mala'af, yamya, tahara, verse 5, wa'am, nakwaba, talad, watama'a, shabayim, Kanada, Washashanyim, Yalam, Washashah, Yam, Tasha, Al, Damya, Tara, verse 6. Waba Mala'ath, Yamya, Tara, Laban, Iwa, Labath, Tabaya, Kabash, Bun, Shanafwa, Lila, Waban, Yawana, Iwa, Thar, Lakata'ath, Al, Pathat, Ahon, Mawa'ai, Al, Hakahan, verse 7. Wahakarabwa, Lapanya, Yahweh, Wakapar, Alia, Watahara, Mamakwar, Damya, Za'ath, Thawarath, Hayeladah, Lazakar, Iwa, Lanakwaba, verse 8, last verse. Wa'am, La'a, Thamathaza'a, Yada, Dai, Sha, Walakwak, Shakya, Tharium, Awa, Shanya, Bunya, Yawana, Akkad, Lila, Wakad, Lakata'ath, Wakapar, Alia, Hakahan, Watahar, and that's it on that. Clap it up. All right, let's go ahead and get this. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation, for her infirmity shall she be unclean. So this is speaking about having a child, right? Childbirth. So if a woman is having a child, a man child to be in specific of the scripture, she would be unclean for 7 days, a part of her separation. Because when you have a baby, of course, when the baby comes out, you have your insides, part of your insides, and the liquids that are coming out. So blood, and pus, and amongst other things as well. And those things make you unclean. Because when you have so for example, right, blood blood can make you unclean, so to speak. Okay, if you have like a blood disease, or a flower, which is called a period, or a woman is on her monthly, all those terms, right? Those are things that make a woman unclean. So when she has a baby, she's definitely unclean because the baby comes out and filled with all this different types of liquid. And one of those liquids is going to be, blood, okay? So that makes a woman unclean. So childbirth is something that makes a woman unclean, but this rule is based on how long she's clean when she has a man child versus a girl child, all right? So let's keep going. Verse 3, and in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. So that's where circumcision comes from, when it comes from the nation of Israel. The reason why some other cultures do circumcision is because of the Bible. When you look at other cultures and look at their rule book, their book about their culture, their race, and things of that sort, you don't really see much about circumcision. You don't see too much about quarantine, which, once again, when you are unclean, you do not come around those that are clean. You separate yourself. That's why it's called separation, okay? You separate yourself so that way nobody else is unclean. So if you are unclean, you quarantine and separate yourself from those that are clean, all right? All right. Salaki. Let's keep going. So on the 8th day, a man child is to get circumcised. All right, the foreskin of his rod, otherwise known as his penis. Okay, verse 4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. All right, so 3 and 30 days, so 33 days. So she shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. Now, here's a big misconception, right? When you're unclean, that means that you can't do anything at all, right? That's not true. However, when it comes to the things that are holy and clean of the Most High, you do not want to be a part of that. So the feast days, Passover, those things you cannot come to because you are unclean. If you are clean, you're welcome to come in, all right? Now, if it's like something that's outside of the work of the Lord or outside of the sanctuary, of course you can be a part of that. You could go to the movies if you choose to. Because one thing about being on your flower or having a child, the system today is so great. And even back then, there was things put in place to where the woman wouldn't continue to bleed out on her monthly. She was able to have some type of, system or device to where she'll be able to, clean herself, to still wash up. Although she's bleeding, although she just had a baby, there's still something in place to where, yes, you are unclean, but you don't have to stay at home all the time. You can still go out, get some air, take a walk, go to the movies, drive your vehicle. You know what I mean? You can still do things, still go to work. All right. And so on and so forth. Verse 4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. Meaning, once those days of you being unclean are over with, then you can come back around into the sanctuary, to the feast days, to the places where you were not able to come when you were unclean. All right, because this is quarantine. Just like COVID-19, when we had to quarantine, meaning separate ourselves, if we had the COVID-19 sickness or illness, we have to separate so that way nobody else would get it. That's the purpose of your separation when you are unclean. And once again, we are going to dive more into all different types of scenarios of clean things or unclean things. Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child, which is a woman, right, or a female, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation. So instead of 7 days with the man child, it's now an extra week, which is 2 weeks. All right. So extra set of 7 days, which is 2 weeks, as in her separation. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. So it's longer. All right. Verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest. Now, this is something that we don't do today, right? We do not sacrifice any animals anymore. But this was in the time of Moses, before Christ. Verse 7, and who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that have borne a male or a female. Verse 8, and if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Now, the sacrifice today is you changing your ways. Because after Christ, that was it. There's no more animal sacrifices for our sins, for our mistakes. All right, so that's it on that part. Let's go to chapter 13 in the Hebrew. That was the end of chapter 12, which was pretty short, 8 verses. All right. 1 second, y'all. All right, Salakia. All right, let's get back to it. All right. 1 through 7. Yeah, all right. All right, this is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 1. Wayadabar, Yahweh Al, Mashah, Wa'al, Aharon, Lamar, verse 2. Adam, Kiyah, Yahaya, by war, Basharwa, Sha'ath, Iwa, Sapakath, Awa, Baharath, Wahaya, by war, Basharwa, like a guy, Tazariah, Waba'a, Al, Aharon, Hakahan, Awa, Al, Akkad, Mabanyawa, Hakahanyam, verse 3. Wara'ah, Hakahan, Ath, Hanagai, by war, Habashar, Washar, Banagai, Hapak, Laban, Wamara'ah, Hanagai, Imak, Maiwar, Basharwa, Nagai, Tazariah, Hawa'ah, Wara'awa, Hakahan, Watama'a, Athwa. Verse 4, Wa'am, Baharath, Labanah, Hawa'ah, by award, Basharwa, Wyamak, Ayan, Marah, Mun, Hawar, Washara, La'ah, Hapak, Laban, Wahasagar, Hakahan, Hanagai, Shabayat, Yum. Verse 5. Wara'awa, Hakahan, Bayawam, Hashabayat, Hashabayat. Wahana, Hanagai, Aimad, Bayanyawa, La'ah, Pasha, Hanagai, by award, Wahasagara, Hakahan, Shabayah, Yum, Shania. Verse 6, Wara'ah, Hakahan, Athwa, Bayawam, Hashabayah, Shania, Wahana, Kaha, Hanagai, Wala'ah, Pasha, Hanagai, by award, Watahara, Hakahan, Masapakat, Haya'ah, Wakabas, Bagad, Watahar. Verse 7, Wa'am, Pasha, Tapasha, Hamasapakat, by award, Akaria, Hara'athwa, Al, Hakahan, Lataharith, Lataharthwa, Wanara'ah, Shanyath, Al-Kahan, and that's it on that. Clap it up. All right, let's get back to it. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, verse 2, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. Verse 3, and the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. So leprosy is a thing, all right? So leprosy is a skin condition, right? Once again, that goes deeper into your flesh, okay? So A lot of people live with leprosy to this day, like having spots on your body, the changing of, the natural color of your skin, so to speak. Anybody can have leprosy. It's a thing that can affect all races or groups, so to speak. That is leprosy. Also, too, so-called Europeans, right, or Caucasians or white people known as today, they have a form of leprosy. Because at one point in time, every race of people has some type of sense of melanin to their skin. Now, everybody that has melanin in their skin doesn't mean that they are black or brown, so to speak, right? They are not all the same people. But every race of people had a sense of some type of color to their skin. But white people, because of a curse that the Lord put on them, they do not have melanin in their skin. And when you look at white people, that is a reminder to let you know that they were once, they are a people that were cursed. Okay? There are people that have, leprosy. Now, also too, it was protection and a curse. All right, and I can get into that as well at a different time. Okay, because that is also in the Bible, as far as how they look, how they are. Let's see, where are we? Verse 4. Now, everybody that has leprosy, I'm not saying that they're white, okay, so to speak, but anybody that has leprosy means that you're unclean. All right, it's a form of uncleanness. All right, verse 4. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and the sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that he hath the plague 7 days. Now, also too, there are different types of leprosy as well. So my bad, I want to backtrack. Everybody that has leprosy, so to speak, doesn't mean that they're technically unclean. Once again, it has to be looked at. It has to be examined in order to see what this is, what type of leprosy they have, okay? To determine if they're clean or unclean. Verse 5, and the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. 6, and the priest shall look on him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. Okay, because every little scab or any discoloration doesn't always mean that you have leprosy. It just means that it's something else. All right, you got hyperpigmentation, you have discoloration, so on and so forth. Verse 12, hold on. I just skipped a little bit, hold on. Verse 7, last verse. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he hath been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. All right, let's start right there. Let's go to 8 through 14. All right. All right. Let's go back into the Hebrew. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 8. Wara'ah, hakahan, wahana, mashatha, hamasa pakath, ba'awar, watama'awa, hakahan, Tazariah, Hawa'ah, verse 9. Nagai, Tazariah, Kaya, Bahaya, Ba'adam, Wahaba, Salaki, Waha, Waba'a, Al, Hakahan. Verse 10. Wara'ah, Hakahan, Wahana, Sha'ath, Labanah, Ba'awar, Wahaya'ah, Hapakah, Shar, Laban, Wamakayath, Bashar, Kayah, Basha'ath, verse 11, Tazariah, Shanath. What? Select it. Nawashanath. There we go. Hawa'ah. By war. Basharwa. Wata'awa. Hakahan. La'ah. That's a guard. Select it. Wasagaran, it's like Wasagaranwa, Kaya, Tama'a, Hawa'ah, it's like Hawa'ah, verse 12, Wa'am, Parawak, Thaparak, Hatazariah, by war, Wakasath, Hatazariah, Ath, Call, I war, Hanagai, Mara'ashwa, Wa'ai, Regalia, Lakal, Mara'ah, Ayanya, Hakahan, verse 13, Wara'ah, Hakahan, Wahana, Kasatha, Hatazariah, Ath, Call, Basharwa, Watahar, Ath, Hanagai, Kalwa, Hapak, Laban, Tawar, Hawa'ah, verse 14, last verse. Waba Yawam, Hara-Awaz, Bawa, Bashar, Kaya, Yasama'ah. And that's it on that. Let's clap it up. All right, let's get back to the English. One moment. All right, so like y'all bear with me real fast. All right. All right. All right, let's get back to it. So, Leviticus chapter 13, verse 8. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy. Verse 9. When the plague of leprosy is in when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest. Verse 10. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, meaning at the top of the skin, and if the color of the hair that's on the skin is white, then it's leprosy. Verse 11. It is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. Verse 12. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. Now, there's leprosy where it's on certain parts of your body, and then you have leprosy where it's all over your body, meaning from head to toe. All right. Now, I have seen people where their skin starts to break out in small parts of leprosy, and then sooner or later throughout time, it covers their entire body. So where some people have been accused of bleaching their skin, some people have been accused of, like bleaching their skin or tanning, because sometimes leprosy can be lighter. Or, based on how you look. Based on how you look, it can make you look lighter, sometimes a little darker. But you have some leprosy where it can be a little dark, or some leprosy that can be lighter. Okay? Verse 13. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. Hold on. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. All right. Raw flesh, of course, where there's blood, there's pus, and things of that sort, you become unclean. There are some type of leprosies where it is different. The condition, there's different types of, leprosy, different types of skin conditions. You have vitiligo, you have leprosy, you have different names for it. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's go back into the Hebrew. 15, 2, 3. All right. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 15. Wara'ah, Hakahan, Ath, Habashar, Hakayah, Watama'awa, Habashar, Hakayah, Tama'ah, Hawa'ah, Tazariah, Hawa'ah. Verse 16. Awa, Kayah, Yashua, Yashua, Habashar, Hakayah, Wanahapak, Lalaban, Waba'ah, Al-Kahan. Verse 17. Wara'awa, Hakahan, Wahana, Nahapak, Hanagai, Lalaban, Watahar, Hakahan, Ath, Hanagai, Tawar, Hawa'ah. Verse 18. Wabashar, Kayah, Yahaya, Bawa. By Arwa, Shakayan, Wanarapa. Verse 19. Wahaya. Bamaquium. Hashakian. Sha'ath. Labanah. Awa. Baharath. Labanah. Adam Damath. Wanara'ah. Wanara'ah. Al Kahan. Verse 20. Wara'ah. Hakahan. Wahana. Mara'ah. Shapal. Man. High award. High award. High award. Yeah, high award. Washara. Hapa. Laban. Watama'awa. Hakahan. Nagai. Tazariah. Hawa'ah. Bashakakian. Bashakayan. Bashakayan. Parakah. Verse 21, last verse. Wa'am. Yara'ana. Hakahan. Wahana. Ayan. Baha. Let me see, Baha. Ba'a. Sha'ar. Laban. Washapala. Ayanyana. Man. Hawar. Wahaya. Kaha. Wahasagarwa. Hakahan. Shabayah. Yum. And that's it on that. Let's clap it up. All right. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 15. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be clean. So like unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean. It is a leprosy. 16. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest. 17. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. That hath the plague, he is clean. I'll read that again. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. That hath the plague, he is clean. All right. So if the flesh is not raw, then it's clean. Verse 18. And the flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil, and is healed. So even if it was a boil is like one of those bumps that have like filled with pus. You got pus, you got air, you got blood in it, right? And it's just like, it's like a big fat pimple that's on you, but it's like oversized and large. And it's just like spots sometimes on your body, right? So even if it's a boil and it's healed meaning that it's controlled, it's not going to like, there's no pus or blood in it, and it's healed, then it's going to be clean, right? Verse 19, and in the place of the boil, there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. Verse 20, and if when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. Okay, so yeah, it's broken, but it's not healed. Verse 21, But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be not white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. So once again, it's describing different types of leprosy, what is leprosy and what is not leprosy. All right. I do want to get into a class about that very soon, just to get more not more understanding, or I mean, not for myself, but more of just more of showing examples of different types of leprosy and showing pictures and videos of sorts, because we see people with leprosy all the time in our everyday life. Once again, the Bible is a book that shows and tells reality and not fairy tales. All right, we are going to go to Leviticus chapter 13, verse 22 in the Hebrew. All right, and it reads, Pasha, Pasha, Ba'awar, Watama'a, Hakahan, Athwa, Nagai, Hawa'a, verse 23, Wa'am, Thakafia, Thaimai, Habaharath, La'ah, Pashatha, Tazariah, Hashakat, Hashakatian, Hawa'ah, Wataharwa, Hakahan, verse 24, Athwa, so like Awa, Bashar, Kaya, Yahaya, Ba'arwa, Makawath, Ash, Wahayatha, Slakia, Makiath, Hamakawa, Baharath, Labanah, Adam, Slakia, Adamath, Awa, Labanah, verse 25, Wara'ah, Atha, Hakahan, Wahana, Nahapak, Sha'ar, Laban, Babaharath, Wamara'ah, Aimak, Man, Hawar, Tazariah, Hawa'ah, Bamakawa, Parakah, Watama'a, Athwa, Hakahan, Nagai, Tazariah, Hawa'ah, verse 26, Wa'am, Yara'ana, Hakahan, Wahana, Ayan, Baba Harath, Sha'ar, Laban, Washapala, Ayanna, yeah, Man, Hayawar, Wahawa'ah, Kaka, it's like Kaha, Wahasagarwa, Hakahan, Shabayah, Yum Yum. Verse 27. Wara'awa, Hakahan, Bayawam, Hashabayah, Yaya, it's like Hashabayah, yeah, Pasha, Tapasha, Bawar, Watama'a, Hakahan, Athwa, Nagai, Tazariah, Hawa'a. Verse 28, last verse. Wa'am, the Kathia, Thaimad, Habaharith, La'ah, Pashatha, Ba'awar, Wahawa'ah, Kaha, Sha'ath, Makawa, Hawa'ah, Wataharwa, it's like it. Wataharwa, Hakahan, Kaya, Tazarabah, Rabath, select it. Tazarabath, Hamakawa, Hawa'ah. And that's it on that part. Let's clap it up. All right. Salakia. All right. So let's get back to it. This is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 22. And it reads, and if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. 23. But if the bright spot stayed in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white. Verse 25. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. Verse 26. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. 27. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. And let me read that part again. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. So now I'm speaking about, again, the boil of the skin, and if it's starting to spread. So once again, sometimes you have a boil and it doesn't spread. It does pop. Sometimes it determines if it's clean. If you are unclean because of this boil, or if you are not. If it has a spot, if it doesn't have a spot, if it spreads, if it doesn't spread. So it's breaking down the scenarios of which someone has leprosy or does not, and which makes you clean or does not make you unclean, or makes you clean. So if it does make you clean or it makes you unclean. Verse 28, last verse. And if the bright spot stayed in his place and spread not in the skin, but it be somewhat dark, it is a rising of the burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is an inflammation of the burning. All right. So once again, like also too, for those that are in the medical field, knows and will understand this. They would better have an idea and understanding of what is determined to be leprosy and what is not. What is determines this, like the skin, to see, just to check out to see what's going on with the skin, to figure out, okay, this is what's going on here. All right, that's why we have something called like dermatologists and other people in that field, where they take a piece of your skin, they take X-rays or scans or tests to see what's going on with your skin and to give you the right diagnosis. All right. Now let's read the last 7, which is verse 29 through 35. All right. Let's get it. Let's go back to the Hebrew. This is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 29. Wa'ayash, Awa, Asha, Taya, Yahaya, Bawa, Nagai, Bara'ash, Awa, Bazakwan, verse 30. Wara'ah, Hakahan, Ath, Hanagai, Wahana, Mara'awa, Imad, Man, Hawar, Wabah, Shayar, Taza'ab, Dak, Watama'ah, Atwa, Hakahan, Nathak, Hawa'ah, Tazariah, Hara'ash, Iwa, Hazakwan, Hawa'ah. Verse 31. Wakaya, Yara'ah, Hakahan, Af, Nagai, Hanathak, Wahana, Ayan, Mara'awa, Imak, Man, Hawar, Washiar, Shakar, Ayan, Bawa, Wahasagar, it's like Wahasagar, Hakahan, Af, Nagai, Hanathak, Shabayah, Yum. Verse 32. Wara'ah, Hakahan, Af, Hanagai, Bayawam, Hashabaya, Wahana, La'ah, Hasha, Hanathak, Wala'ah, Haya, Bawa, Sha'ar, Taza'ah, Wamara, Hanathak, Ayan, Imak, Man, Hawar. Verse 33. Wahathakalak, Wa'ath, Hanathak, La'ah, Yagalak, Wahasagar, Hakahan, Ath, Hanathak, Shabayah, Yum, Shaniath. Verse 34. Wa'ara, it's like Wara'ah, Hakahan, Ath, Hanathak, Bayawam, Hashabaya, it's like Hashabaya, Wahana, La'ah, Pasha, Hanathak, by a war, Wamarawa, Ayanwa, Imad, Man, Hawar, Washa, Watahar, Athwa, Hakahan, Wakabas, Bagad Watahar. Verse 35, last verse. Wa'am, Pasha, Yakasha, Hanathak, Bawar, Akarwa, Taharathwa. And that's it on that. Slap it up. All right. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, verse 30, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. 31. And if the priest took on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not a sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that have the plague of the skull 7 days. Verse 32. And in the 7th day, the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the skull be not in the sight deeper than the skin. So a skull, once again, is like you have like spots. It's not your natural hair color, but it's in your head or it's in your beard. You have some people where they have like it looks like a birthmark, so to speak, and it's like a distinct color that is in a certain spot of their it's in a certain spot within their beard or in their hair, and you know it's always going to be there. So they can dye it and stuff like that, but when they wash it out, that's something that never comes out. It's like a birthmark that's like in your head or in your beard. It's like a color that stays there; it doesn't go away. All right, and there are some people who have that, where like they have a whole lot of hair or have hair, facial hair or hair on their head, and there's like a certain spot that's a different color that's not the same as the rest of their head or their beard. All right. But sometimes it does spread all over. And sometimes it stays in one spot or multiple spots. Verse 31 again. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up that hath the plague of the skull 7 days. 32. And in the 7th day, the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in no yellow hair, and the skull be not in sight deeper than the skin. 33. He shall be shaven, but the skull shall be not shaved. And the priest shall shut him up that hath the skull 7 days more. All right, give me a second here. Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. I think I'm reading that wrong. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm talking about, my bad. Let me backtrack. I'm talking about leprosy again. My bad. A skull is something that's like, it looks like a rash. It's scabby. It's like a scab, like a rough scab, and it can be it can look like a rash. And you know, a rash is kind of, it can be big, it can be small, but like it's scabby, it's patchy, okay, and crusty as well. So that's why you have to be shaven just to control that. It's called a scald, SCALL, a scald. So it's a skin disease that can cover your body or cover certain parts of your body, or be on your skin somewhere. All right, it's not a pimple, it's not a rash, it's something more. It's a disease that you have to control. Okay, you can have it all, any part of your body. Some people have it on their face, some people have it in their head, some people have to get their head shaven if they have longer hair, so where they can get and treat it before it gets worse, so to speak. All right. Verse 34. And in the seventh day the priest shall look on the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, or be in sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. Verse 35. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleansing, and then we're going to stop there. And later, next week, Lord Allah, we are going to finish off the rest of this chapter. All right. So again, just to recap real fast, the purpose of all of this, right, is to show you different types of leprosy, different types of things that are clean and unclean. Whether we're talking about quarantine because you aren't clean because of childbirth, or because you spread your seed, or because of a disease, or the things that you can and cannot eat. So it's going to explain more examples, starting with chapter 11, which we already read or finished off, going into the future next chapters. All right. So stay tuned for next week, and the future weeks ahead. All right. So with that being said, which means to stand. Like, all right. Again, I imagine, which means to stand. We'll find you out for done, which means to face the east. All right. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanav, Shabbat Shemayim, Kudash, Shaya, Shakab, Yahweh, Malak Waka, Taba'ah, Zak, Hayat, Asha, Barak Zak, Kawah, Hayat, Bashamayim, Dalana, Kam, Kom, Basalakana, Kawatnawa, Kazlaknawa, Kawatnawa, La'a, Taba'ana, Panasayawan, Wa, Awshanawa, Mayan, Bak, Yelka, Amlan. Aman, in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. Amen. The power, in the Hebrew. Yahweh Bashim Shah, Baruch Shah, Dalana, Labarpa, Kamakla, Kamarwa, Ka, Lazar, Hamakazari, Ka, Bahaki, Hamaki, Ka, Arakawa, Asama, Allah, the Darshan, Bashim Shah, the Waraman, the power in English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. Bless Israel. In Hebrew. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Barak Anawah, Bayashah, Allah, Wahabayah, Sephardim, Barak, Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Wad Arman. What we just said was, Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us in Israel, and the school, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Azaria, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Ashah, Shemayim, Barakasa, Ayatan, Namawak, Baraka, Ayanawam, Shemar, Hanat, La'a, Yanawam, Bala'a, Ayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shemar, Yahweh, Tazarka, Ayah, Yanaka, Yawamam, Ashemas, La'a, Yakat, Bayara, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makorah, Yashamar, Akapasri, Yahweh, Yashamar, Sala'atka, Bagawaka, Mayata, I will learn. In English, I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from which come my help. My help coming from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out, and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in Hebrew. Alahayim, Adam Yalaka, Arash, for all Tashaqua, all Kaya, Awapika, Yahami Yawan, Rash, Al Amaka, Yarulam, Sabbath, Bayatan Yat Hazaba, Absa Wanika, Amara, Akawaka, Kitan, Mabali, Wala, Yazakar, Shabya Sha'ala, Iwada, Kaya, Nawat Hazaba, Lapa, Yakad, Awika, Bayat, Yakaraka, Ahoya, Alawam, Ayashama, Alayam, Mawa'awa, Kabal, by the one, Ramala, the shot, I'm Yashab, Yatazabur, Tam Ashmore, Nalawa, I know, Hayat, Sarah, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Shalaham, Kabadi, Kazia, Asara, Kayabi, Barako, Bayashwan, Nashamat, Bayan, the Or, Hayawa, the Man, La Adamat, Shatham, Nada, Yakawaka, because of Zormana, Harnasi, a combo, Ashar, Amaro, Narashat, Nawa. Nawa, Alahayim, Alahayat, Shatom, Kabala, Kapas, Lapanya Maraka, Ka'atzai, Lapanya Maraka, Ka'at, Astabari Iron, Wakala, Lahat, Harmon, Karm, Barakama, Basaraka, Basu Patka, Balaham, Balaha, Harnaham, Palo, Bayakapashu, Shaka, Yahaw, Yabasu, Bayakahova, Ayah, Bayakaparu, Bayakabai. Bayat ayo, kaya Shaka, Yahweh, Labaka, Ali1, Rakasa. Psalms 83 in English. Keep out thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold out thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make us amongst, and they that hate thee, I lift up the head. They have said, crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off and be a nation, that the name of Yasha'Allah may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together. With what to say. They are confederate against him. The tabernacles of Edom and the Israelites of Moab and Hagarenes, of Baal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur also joined with it. They folk the children of Lot, Salah. He was to them as the Midianites, as the Sisera, as the Jabin, as the Kizan, which bears at Endor. They became as devils of the earth. Made them know like red, and I said, yea, all the person as a Bob, and as a woman who said, let us take to ourselves a house of your power and possession, on my power. Make it like a wheel as a stubble before the wind, as a fire in the wood, and as flames at the mountains of fire. So persecute them by tempests and make them afraid by storm. Go to face of the shame that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that they may not bow, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the most high over all the earth. I educate power structures. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King heaven and earth and all things living, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us sound right now. To use the curse of the punishment and instruction to the heathen and shake loose. To use the curse of the punishment and instruction to the heathen that speak against us. Like prophets and teachers, the princes, the priests. There's like brothers in school. To use the curse of the punishment and instruction to the heathen and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse against the school. For it's the riches that enters thy sanctuary. To use the curses and punishment and instruction to the Edomites and the nations and the drug dealers, the court system, the present system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, everlasting God, armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, works of witchcraft, that's a space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels, and radio channels, convict the spirit of invite people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way, or try to stop us from broadcasting your words, start planet Earth, then lose all the plagues, cause it to go to and fro to the earth and consume them. Let the place the house of the thief and the murder. Let your house shy, Michael and Gabriel come down from saucers, punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak our word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause it to shake as I come and name now shy. Thank you always, so be it. All right, sorry, which is the turn. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Courtesy salute to the men in Israel. I imagine, Rock, Yahweh, my Shem, Yahweh, Yahweh, top, head to the side, courtesy salute for the sisters. Men in Israel, my Shabbat, I imagine, Rock, Yahweh, Shemar, the top, Shem, Yahweh, Yahweh, top, last 6 minutes. All right, shalom, Israel.